Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a great start to the new year, and happy new year everybody. It's officially 2023, and today I'm going to be talking about why I'm going to be supporting the NHS in the UK. For those of you that are across the world, in Canada, the US and elsewhere, the NHS stands for the National Health Service here in the UK, and I wanted to talk about my recent experiences of using the NHS in England and being a patient and having a operation done which has improved my life and changed how I feel about the NHS in general. So recently, as a lot of you know, I've had carpal tunnel surgery on my left hand, as you can see from the bandage that's left on my hand, which comes off on Saturday. I recently had carpal tunnel surgery after suffering for more than a year and a half with constant pins and needles and tingling up and down my arm, in my shoulder and in the side of my neck. And it got to such a point that I have done all other options. I tried doing exercises, I tried going to the GP, the physician as you guys call it in the States, and nothing was working. I tried wrist splints, wrist braces, nothing had worked. And finally I got a referral to the trauma and orthopedics department in the hospital, and basically the doctor who did my first operation on my right hand back in 2013 luckily agreed to see me and consulted with me, and we talked through my options with regards to what I wanted to do. And I basically told him enough was enough and that I needed surgery because I'm sick of having this pain, and due to how my autism is, I don't cope well with pain and discomfort very well. I tend to get very emotional, stressed out, and it got to a point where I was crying a lot, I was lacking sleep a lot, I was getting short-tempered. And I explained to him that I just want to feel better now. I want this pain and suffering to end. I don't know what other options there is left to do. And he then basically did some tests on me, and when them tests come back not as he hoped or expected, that I was like, you know what, let's just go for the surgery. And luckily he agreed to do the surgery for me. This was back in July, August that I had the appointment with him, I think, or September, and then he basically agreed to do the surgery because I'd exhibited all the severe end of the symptoms, such as the constant tingling, pins and needles, dropping things, not being able to hold a knife and fork properly, not being able to open bottles of drink, things like that, because I just had too much weakness and loss of sensations in my fingers and in my wrist in general. So when we came to the surgery, he explained everything that I needed to do. So that was just to make sure I didn't use my wrist for too much heavy lifting, which I'm still on restrictions of heavy lifting now. I still can't do any heavy lifting for 4 to 6 weeks, and it takes 10 to 12 weeks to heal. But I can take this plaster little bandage off on Saturday and let the wrist do its natural healing process. So I've been really excited and really supported and given dignity and confidence and empathy during my recent operation. He was very supportive. He understood that I was a little bit anxious, and he understood that I was panicking a little bit about it, but I was actually quite calm for the majority of it, because he was like, you know what happened last time, you know the pain, you know the symptoms, you know the self-care. I'm like, yes I do, I'm fully aware of the risks and everything, because he did say that some patients do end up having the operation redone. He did explain it happens to about 2% of every patient that has this operation done. It's a very common day surgery operation. It's done all the time. They basically make a little incision into my wrist bone here, open me up here, open me up there. They basically cut out the muscle which is causing the tingling and pins and needles, and then they basically stitch me up back up here, stitch me up back up here, stitch me up back up here, and then they wrap my hand in a big bandage which I took off on last Sunday, just gone. And then I just have to keep this on until Saturday, and then this can come off on Saturday once I peel it off my hand. So, but I have got a lot more sensation and feeling back in my fingers now. As you can see, I can actually bend my fingers and actually straighten them. This is the first time or second time I've been able to actually straighten them fully out like this, and I can actually bend my wrist now without too much pain. I can actually flex it a little bit more, and I'm not having as much pain as what I thought I was going to have. He reassured me that any pain that I had was going to be normal, because again it takes 10 to 12 weeks for a full recovery, but he did say after 6 to 8 weeks I should be able to use it on light duties and do the normal everyday basic things. So things like chores and things like being able to eat and drink as normal I should be able to do. So that's a fantastic step forward. And he was just really reassuring in general. You know, he talked to me about my hobbies, my interests. I mentioned about my YouTube channel, and he really was supportive of it. He asked me why do I do YouTube and things like that. And he explained to me he loves watching YouTube. He watches a lot of YouTube when he's not working. So I was able to kind of talk to him about why I raised the profile of autism and disability in the local community, why I like doing it, why I'm so passionate about it. And we did get talking about how to support NHS professionals such as himself, nurses, healthcare assistants, the frontline staff that work every single day, even during the most stressful time of holidays such as Christmas, Easter. You know, they are working away from home, they're working away from their families, they're putting their lives on the line, looking after your loved ones, your friends, your family, and they're not having the chance to spend time with their family. So seeing how much dedication and love was put into the treatment that I had, and yet mine was very, very minor surgery, very minor. I can stress that. It was a very, very minor, straightforward surgery, no complications, no hiccups, no stress, no aggravation, no anxiety. It was very straightforward. It was very basic. It was a 45-minute operation in and out, and it was very, very good. I was very impressed with his manner, his tone, the fact that he explained everything, he showed me everything. He made me feel completely at ease with him. He built that trust up with me. He knew exactly what I was going to expect. He knew that I had slight anxieties. He knew that my autism would probably play a factor in it. And it was great. It was such a straightforward communication. The doctors and nurses were absolutely outstanding. Could not fault them at all. Could not fault them at all. Brilliant with me, reassured me, explained everything, took my height, weight, blood pressure, did all that stuff, explained why it had to be done, asked me my name, my date of birth, my address, to make sure I was able to confirm mentally what I was doing, what I was consenting to. So it's basically all explained to me. They gave me my notes afterwards, which I've got here behind me. They've got all my notes, what happened, why I needed the surgery, etc. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how I was looked after. I was treated with empathy, compassion, dignity. I was looked after from start to finish. I am still being looked after now. I do have a hand therapist appointment next week on Friday, on the 13th. Yes, I know people are suspicious, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I've got a hand therapy appointment next Friday, and I'm going to start getting intense like workouts with the hand therapist, and they'll give me tips and tricks and advice how to look after myself. But we need to support our NHS doctors and nurses. We really do. These people are crucial. I know the NHS gets a lot of negative press and it gets slammed time after time after time after time. But unless you are a patient, unless you know what it's like to be in a hospital environment, keep your opinions to yourself. They are fantastic, amazing people. They're my heroes. My doctor was my hero that day. He didn't deny me anything. He didn't say, no, Gemma, maybe we shouldn't, whatever. The nurses were very understanding. They knew that I was autistic. They knew that I was struggling a little bit. They knew I was emotional because of my pain. It was brilliant. I was absolutely amazed how well they looked after me. And the way they communicated with my mum was amazing. They made sure that she was aware that I was fine, that I was going to deal with it. And even the surgeon put on music for me, so I was less anxious. He actually put on a music playlist, and I was just laying there listening to this weird ass music. Don't know what it was. It was like between rock and pop. It was like weird, his own personal collection, but it was fine. It was fun. It was funky. Whatever, floats your boat kind of thing. But yeah, the NHS staff are amazing. They work hard. They put their lives on the line. They look after patients like myself who are not able to always be verbally communicative or may have heightened anxiety, heightened depressional state. He was brilliant. He made me feel so important. He made me feel so good about myself. And just that little compliment and just that little bit of care made the world to me. Really did. So please, if you do have NHS treatment here in the UK and you're from the UK like myself, don't attack your doctor. Don't attack the nurses who look after you. They work damn sight hard for you every single freaking day of the week. They don't deserve to be attacked. They don't deserve to be slated on national media. Enough is enough. Let's stand up for our doctors and nurses because they do deserve it. Yes, I know they need a little bit more help. Yes, they do. But I've had an amazing time of treatment, and I will continue to boast them up because without them, this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have been able to have my surgery. So let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll be back next time. Bye guys.